How is it going, everyone? It's K-Lumid here, and today we are going to be talking about Army Men Air Attack on the PlayStation 1. This is a game that I grew up playing a lot of. I played this game a ton as a kid. In fact, there got to a point where our disc actually broke. A piece was literally missing of our disc. And somehow, I kid you not, I would put the disc in, and it would still play. Now, that being said, I'm sure if we got to a certain point in the game, it probably would have stopped. But let me tell you, as a kid, when we had a game that worked even though a piece of the disc was literally missing, that impressed us. And I gotta say, ever since then, whenever a game has some scratches and stops working, I've been a little bit disappointed because I compare it to Army Men Air Attack. I'm just like, there's no reason. There's no reason. Army Men Air Attack survived with a piece of the disc missing. You shouldn't quit because of a few scratches. And that's how I look at video games these days now. But I actually really love this game. Army Men Air Attack is a fantastic game. It's a fun game based off the little green and tan toys of the little army soldiers that you used to be able to buy. And I think you can still actually find them in some places. But I used to play with those toys a lot. So when it comes to this game, of course I'm going to enjoy a game based off the toy line. Especially since this game is actually very good too. The controls actually are pretty nice. It controls very well flying the different helicopters. You have 4 different helicopters to choose from. Eventually, you do have to unlock all of them, and you also have eventually 4 co-pilots that you can also have with you. So you have a little bit of selection when it comes to that stuff, but the actual combat and the controlling of all the characters, it actually still feels really good, and I still really enjoyed playing through this game. It also helps that a lot of the missiles have lock-on systems, so even if you aren't, the perfect aim, it doesn't really matter because it will do the aiming for you. Same with like the machine gun. You don't have to be perfect with the machine gun. As long as you're close, it's probably going to give you the hit. So I do like the controls of this game, and I think that overall, those actually aged pretty well. Now the graphics, they're PS1 graphics. I still like the way it looks. It definitely is nostalgic to me, so it's not going to bother me. People who didn't grow up with the PS1 probably won't see the appeal, but if you grew up with the PS1, you're probably going to like the graphics because it's just that nice kind of cheesy PS1 look that I love. And if I love the cheesy PS1 look, there's probably other people out there that also do. So I love the way it looks. I think it looks great, and it really captures the feeling of these little toys, especially because you're on these different maps and these different missions that have just everyday objects on them, like a picnic with apples and stuff like that. But because you're just little soldiers, those become gigantic obstacles. And you can actually pick up like apples and stuff. You can pick up random objects in the environment, and you can use them against the Tan Army. You can drop them on their bases and destroy their bases. You can drop them on their turrets. You can just drop them on the soldiers and destroy them that way. And just all that stuff is really, really cool. And they did, like I said, they did a great job of capturing it. There's even bugs that will like fly around, and every now and then some of them will attack you, and you have to kind of watch out for them. But because, again, you're little army toys, you're tiny, so these bugs are massive that are chasing you. And there's actually one level, and I'll always remember this level, and I'll always remember this specific line from this level, because there is a level where you actually have to free some of the bugs, and they will actually help you destroy the Tan base. And I'll never forget just going and freeing them from their box, and them going out and starting just to destroy the Tan bases, and them just going, "We're free." I love that so much, and every now and then I still quote that because I just love that line, and that line, that one little thing stuck with me through all these years. I don't know why, but it did. But this is just a really fun, charming game, and I really like it. I think it's a lot of fun. The mission design is really good. I think you have a lot of different objectives that you can do. Each mission obviously has its own objective, but they give you quite a big variety. Some of the stuff is going and escorting trains, for example. There's like a little Thomas the Tank Engine that you have to escort in one level. There's a teddy bear that you have to escort in another level. You have bases that you have to go and destroy. You have ant hills. There's ants coming and attacking your base, and you have to pick up cherry bombs and drop them onto the ant hills and blow up the ant hills. And there's just a bunch of stuff like that. There's one level where you have to pick up sugary like snacks, so like there's donuts laying around, and you have to pick them up and set them in the Tan base to attract the ants, and they'll start destroying the Tan bases. And I just love the variety that they give you. They give you so much stuff to do. Retrieval missions where you have to go and steal the Tan's UFO. They have a UFO that they had hidden away. You have to find it and bring it back to your base. And the cool thing is a lot of the times with like the things like the UFO, for example, or the teddy bear, is in that mission you'll save them, you'll find the UFO, or you'll save the teddy bear, And then in the next level, they'll actually be helping you. So you actually have a teddy bear that's running around and destroying things with you like it's a gigantic Godzilla. And I really, again, this game is just so full of charisma. The UFO is like following you after you save it, and it's like destroying, just sending laser beams out and destroying the Tan army. So I love that stuff. And it also is pretty creative as well. In one level, you actually have to pick up a green crown and drop it into this tan paint to turn the paint into green paint, because they're making clones out of the paint. They're cloning more tan soldiers. So if you drop the green in there, it will start cloning green soldiers instead. And it just, I love the creativity there. They had a lot of cool ideas here. And overall, this is still a game I'm very nostalgic for. I still really love this game, as you can probably tell. Just the sound effects, just the music, everything about this game just, it hits me right in the childhood. This is a game that really reminds me of my childhood, and it's still a really cheap game too. You can usually find this for $10 or less, and honestly, for that price, I think it's worth it. Now, I will say this game is not a very long game. You can beat it in less than 2 hours, and I don't know how many times I beat it as a kid, but playing through it recently, I definitely beat it pretty quickly, it felt like. So, it's not very long, and it's kind of hard to talk about replay value on a game like this. I will say I play a lot, but that's also because I grew up with it. So this is definitely something that if you grew up with and you want to relive your childhood, honestly, picking it up and playing through it again, it's still a lot of fun. You're probably going to still enjoy this game because, I mean, yeah, nostalgia is a heck of a thing, but the game, in terms of its gameplay and everything, it aged pretty darn well, actually. So if you had this game growing up and you enjoyed it, go pick it up. If you are someone who plays PlayStation 1 games and you're just looking for a different PlayStation 1 game to try out, try this one out. Army Men Air Attack is fantastic. It is a really fun game. The level design is awesome. Everything about this is so charismatic, and if you are looking just for another fun PS1 game for your collection, this, I think, is a must-own. This is a fantastic game, and I think if you are a PS1 collector, this is honestly a must-own. You know, I don't know how the newer generations would like this game, but I know that people who actually like the PS1 will probably love this game. So go check out Army Men Air Attack on the PlayStation 1. It's a heck of a time. It's a lot of fun, and I highly recommend it. I'll talk to you in the next video. You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.